Why is it that the people who stand out the least often endure the deepest wounds? Sigma males, the lone wolves of society, are known for their independence, introspection, and self-sufficiency. They prefer solitude over shallow connections and value quality over quantity in relationships. Yet, despite their reserved nature and careful selection of close bonds, betrayal often finds its way into their lives. Is it because they're misunderstood? Or because their quiet strength is mistaken for emotional detachment? Studies in social psychology reveal that betrayal often occurs in relationships where one party feels intimidated or insecure. The Sigma male's enigmatic nature can unintentionally trigger such emotions. But betrayal isn't just about actions, it's about broken trust, the silent crack in the foundation of relationships. And for a Sigma, who treasures loyalty above all else, these betrayals cut the deepest. Let's explore why Sigma males, despite their best efforts to guard their hearts, are often betrayed by the very people they trust most. Reason 1, their independence breeds resentment. For the Sigma male, independence isn't just a preference, it's the foundation of his identity. He thrives on self-reliance, trusts his own judgment, and refuses to measure his worth by how much others approve of him. Unlike most people, who lean on family, friends, or even colleagues for validation, guidance, or emotional reassurance, the Sigma learns to carry his own weight. On the surface, this is a strength admired by many. People often say they respect his ability to stand alone. But beneath the admiration lies an unspoken truth: his independence often stirs quiet resentment in those closest to him. Here's why. Most relationships, whether friendships, romantic bonds, or family dynamics, are built on a subtle sense of mutual reliance. People feel valuable when they're needed, when their advice is sought, when their emotional support is leaned upon, or when their presence feels indispensable. But with a Sigma male, this dynamic is different. He doesn't need constant reassurance, nor does he depend on others to carry him through challenges. His ability to navigate life with minimal reliance can unintentionally make others feel unnecessary, undervalued, or even invisible. Over time, this imbalance breeds insecurity. A friend may wonder, does he even need me? A partner may question, why doesn't he lean on me the way others do with their significant others? A family member may feel, why does he never ask for my advice, doesn't he trust me? These doubts slowly transform into resentment. What the Sigma views as strength and self-sufficiency, others begin to misinterpret as coldness, emotional distance, or even indifference. And resentment rarely sits quietly. Left unaddressed, it festers and seeks release. That's when betrayal enters the picture. A friend who once admired his independence may start gossiping about him behind his back, fueled by envy of his emotional stability. A romantic partner, feeling overshadowed or unwanted, may act out in reckless ways just to provoke a reaction and test if he truly cares. A family member, insecure about being excluded from his decision-making process, might undermine him in subtle or direct ways, hoping to reassert their importance. What makes this particularly tragic is that the Sigma male never intends to create these gaps. His independence isn't a rejection of others, it's simply his way of existing in the world. He values loyalty, respect, and authenticity deeply. Yet his quiet, detached demeanor can unintentionally be perceived as dismissive, creating a disconnect between his intentions and how others experience him. This is the double-edged sword of the Sigma's independence. On one side, it protects him from superficial attachments, shallow validation, and manipulative dynamics. He doesn't need a crowd to define his worth, and that gives him immense inner peace. But on the other side, his independence can alienate those who crave a more obvious sense of significance in his life. The very thing that makes him strong and admirable becomes the seed of resentment in others, resentment that often blossoms into betrayal. At its core, this painful paradox shows why Sigma males are so often wounded by those closest to them. Their independence, while shielding them from external chaos, leaves them vulnerable to the hidden storms of jealousy, insecurity, and frustration that quietly build in the hearts of people they trust. Reason 2, their success sparks jealousy. Sigma males are not wired to walk the well-worn path. While most people follow societal blueprints, school, career, social approval, material milestones, the Sigma quietly veers off, carving his own trail. His success is rarely loud or showy, but it is undeniable. It might come through mastering a niche skill, excelling in creative pursuits, building a business from scratch, or simply crafting a lifestyle that reflects freedom and authenticity. What sets him apart is that he doesn't measure success by conventional standards, he defines it for himself. And yet, this independence and originality carry an unintended consequence: jealousy. Human psychology often equates difference with threat. When people see the Sigma thriving outside the rules they themselves feel trapped by, it unsettles them. His ability to create a fulfilling life without bowing to conformity challenges their own choices. Instead of asking, "What can I learn from him?" many fall into the easier trap of envy. Jealousy festers in silence, but eventually, it finds ways to express itself, and betrayal is often the outlet. This betrayal can take many forms. A coworker might spread rumors to damage his reputation at work. A so-called friend may subtly undermine him, dismissing his success as luck to protect their own fragile ego. Even a romantic partner, unable to cope with his independence or the quiet respect he commands, might belittle his achievements to feel superior. What's tragic is that the Sigma rarely sees this coming. He doesn't compete with others, doesn't flaunt his wins, and doesn't care for validation. To him, success is personal. To others, it feels like a mirror reflecting their own insecurities. What makes the sting sharper is the intimacy of the betrayal. Sigmas keep their inner circle small and sacred. When someone within that circle allows jealousy to overtake loyalty, it's not just hurtful, it feels like a violation of trust at the deepest level. It's not just about envy, it's about realizing that someone he let into his carefully chosen space resented the very qualities he thought they admired. And here lies the bitter irony: the Sigma's success, which he never uses to compete or boast, becomes the very thing that isolates him. The independence that earned him respect also paints a target on his back. His quiet victories expose the insecurities of others, and instead of support, he is met with sabotage or betrayal. For the Sigma male, jealousy isn't just an external issue, it's a reminder of the loneliness that often comes with walking his unique path. The higher he rises on his own terms, the fewer people can stand beside him without resentment. And yet, he continues forward, because for him, success isn't about pleasing others, it's about staying true to himself, no matter how many fall away in the process. Reason 3, they value loyalty over superficiality. For a Sigma male, loyalty is not just an admirable trait, it is the foundation of every relationship he allows into his life. He doesn't waste his energy chasing shallow friendships, nor does he crave validation through surface-level connections. Instead, he is drawn to depth, authenticity, and trust. And when he finds it, he invests fully. But here's the paradox: the very depth of his loyalty is what makes him vulnerable. Unlike many people who hand out trust easily, a Sigma takes his time. He watches carefully, observes behavior under stress, tests reliability in subtle ways, and patiently evaluates before letting someone into his inner circle. This makes his circle incredibly small, but also incredibly meaningful. Once you've earned a place in his life, he assumes you hold that position with the same seriousness he does. To him, loyalty is a two-way street, sacred and unbreakable. Unfortunately, not everyone sees it that way. Many people view relationships through convenience rather than commitment. They value temporary benefits, validation, or social advantage more than unwavering loyalty. When such people interact with a Sigma, they often misinterpret his quiet, detached demeanor. Some assume he won't notice betrayal. Others believe his independence means he won't care if they fail to show up for him. Both assumptions couldn't be further from the truth. For the Sigma male, betrayal is not just an action, it's a violation of an unspoken code. It cuts deeper than it would for most because of how carefully he guards his trust. He doesn't give loyalty lightly, so when it's broken, it feels like the destruction of something sacred. To him, disloyalty is not just disappointing, it's dishonorable. It reveals a fundamental mismatch in values, one that cannot be repaired with apologies or excuses. This is why betrayals hit him harder than others. It's not about losing a friend, a partner, or an ally, it's about realizing that the person never truly valued the bond as he did. It leaves him questioning his judgment, wondering how he could have misread someone so profoundly. And yet, as painful as it is, betrayal also strengthens his resolve. It reminds him why his standards are high and why his trust must remain guarded. Each wound refines his circle, sharpening his awareness of who truly belongs in his life. In the end, the Sigma male's loyalty is both his greatest gift and his greatest test. Only those who understand its weight and honor it fully are allowed to stand beside him. Reason 4, they don't play social games. Society often functions like an invisible stage play. There are roles, masks, unspoken rules, and subtle manipulations that dictate who rises, who falls, and who is accepted. Most people, whether they realize it or not, agree to participate in these games, laughing at jokes they don't find funny, pretending to like people they secretly resent, or strategically building alliances to secure approval, power, or advantage. For many, this is the cost of belonging. But Sigma males are wired differently. They don't see the point in faking smiles or playing politics. They value authenticity over appearance, truth over diplomacy, and principles over popularity. If they don't like someone, they won't pretend otherwise. If they don't believe in something, they won't nod along just to keep the peace. Their refusal to play by the invisible rules sets them apart, and not always in ways that others appreciate. To the manipulative, this honesty is dangerous. The Sigma's inability to be swayed by flattery, guilt, or social pressure strips manipulators of their power. People who thrive on control see the Sigma as unpredictable, uncooperative, even arrogant. Because he won't bend to the game, they often turn against him, choosing sabotage over acceptance. Instead of respecting his independence, they view it as a threat to their carefully constructed webs of influence. This betrayal often takes subtle forms: exclusion from groups, whisper campaigns meant to tarnish his reputation, or colleagues undermining his work behind closed doors. It can also be more personal: friends who drift away because he refuses to play along with their drama, or partners who resent his emotional detachment from manipulative tactics. The Sigma doesn't respond to guilt trips, emotional blackmail, or social hierarchies, and this frustrates those who rely on such tools to maintain control. What makes this betrayal cut even deeper is the Sigma's intentions. He doesn't avoid social games to rebel or to appear superior. He avoids them because he genuinely values clarity, peace, and authenticity. While others build complex facades to fit in, the Sigma strips everything down to the truth. He has no interest in gossip, backstabbing, or political maneuvering. Ironically, this makes him stand out more. His silence in the face of chaos, his refusal to join cliques, and his detachment from petty rivalries make him both respected and resented. At its core, this clash between authenticity and manipulation exposes a painful truth: betrayal often has less to do with the Sigma's actions and more to do with others' inability to control or define him. People who cannot mold him to their expectations often punish him for it. In the Sigma's world, honesty is a strength, but in the wider social world, it can be a provocation. And so, the Sigma male pays a heavy price for his principles. His refusal to play social games protects his soul, but it also invites betrayal from those who cannot tolerate a man they cannot control. Yet, even in the face of this, the Sigma rarely bends. For him, losing people who demand pretense is not a loss at all, it is a necessary filtering of those unworthy of his loyalty. Reason 5, their silence is misinterpreted. Silence is often misunderstood in a world addicted to noise. Most people are conditioned to equate constant chatter with connection, reassurance, and belonging. In conversations, they expect quick responses, affirmations, or at least a visible display of emotion. When those cues are absent, discomfort creeps in. This is where the Sigma male stands apart. He is a master of silence, not because he is shy or insecure, but because he understands its power. To him, silence is clarity. It is a tool for listening, processing, and conserving energy. He speaks only when his words add value, which makes his voice weightier and his presence harder to ignore. His silence is not emptiness, it is intentional space. But to others, that same silence becomes unsettling. A Sigma's quietness acts like a mirror: people project their own fears, doubts, and insecurities onto it. They wonder, is he judging me? Does he think he's better than me? Why won't he react? In truth, he is simply observing, but the human mind struggles with ambiguity. Where there are no clear signals, assumptions take over. These assumptions often spiral into resentment. A coworker may decide his silence means arrogance. A friend might interpret it as disinterest. A partner could mistake it for emotional withdrawal. And when people can't handle that ambiguity, they sometimes lash out, through gossip, passive-aggressive behavior, or outright betrayal. It becomes a way of forcing the Sigma to show his cards, to provoke a reaction that will ease their discomfort. Yet what they fail to realize is that the Sigma's silence has nothing to do with them. It is a reflection of his inner world, his calm, his focus, and his resistance to unnecessary drama. While others chase constant validation through words, he finds peace in restraint. His silence shields him from superficial exchanges and gives him the clarity to see what others often miss: subtle motives, hidden emotions, and the truth buried beneath noise. The tragedy, however, is that betrayal often meets his silence. When those close to him misinterpret his quiet nature, they may act against him without understanding him. And while he may not explode or confront them loudly, the Sigma does not forget. Every act of betrayal reinforces one of his deepest convictions: that trust is fragile, loyalty is rare, and not everyone deserves access to his inner world. For the Sigma male, silence is both his shield and his test. Those who respect it earn his trust; those who fear or misinterpret it often remove themselves from his life through their own actions. Each betrayal cuts deeply, not because he didn't see it coming, but because it confirms what he already knows: the world misunderstands what it cannot control. Final thoughts. Betrayal is one of life's most painful teachers, and for a Sigma male, its sting is sharper than most people realize. Unlike others who may hand out their trust freely, the Sigma guards it like a treasure. He doesn't let just anyone into his inner world. His relationships are carefully chosen, built not on convenience or superficial attraction, but on loyalty, respect, and authenticity, qualities he values far above material wealth or social status. So when betrayal comes, it doesn't just feel like a broken promise. It feels like a fracture in the very foundation of what he believed to be sacred. For the Sigma, betrayal is never casual, it's deeply personal. Yet here lies the paradox: while it cuts him deeply, it also transforms him. Unlike many who spiral into bitterness, the Sigma male uses betrayal as fuel for growth. He doesn't crumble under the weight of disappointment. Instead, he rises stronger, more discerning, and even more protective of his peace. Each betrayal becomes a mirror, reflecting not only the flaws and weaknesses of others but also reminding him where he must sharpen his boundaries, where he must be more cautious, and where he must trust actions over words. For those who betray a Sigma, the realization of what they've lost often comes too late. Regret replaces arrogance when they see that his silence is permanent. Because the Sigma doesn't waste time on grudges or revenge. He simply walks away. He withdraws his energy, his trust, his presence, and that absence speaks louder than any confrontation ever could. To him, cutting ties isn't about anger, it's about self-preservation. Once a line of loyalty is crossed, there is rarely a return. But for those who honor his trust, the experience is entirely different. To be in a Sigma's inner circle is to hold something rare and irreplaceable. His support is unwavering, his loyalty unshakable, and his presence a grounding force in a chaotic world. He doesn't scatter his energy across hundreds of shallow connections. Instead, he pours into the few who prove themselves worthy. And that makes his loyalty priceless. So the question remains, what about you? Are you surrounding yourself with people who uplift, respect, and strengthen you? Or are you holding space for those who might one day betray your trust? The Sigma mindset is a reminder that loyalty is sacred, authenticity is non-negotiable, and protecting your peace is never selfish, it's essential. Take a moment to reflect, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video if it resonated with you, and subscribe for more insights into the world of Sigma males. Thank you for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.